Motorcyclists have the same rights and responsibilities as other vehicles on the roadways. Because they are smaller, you need to be especially alert when changing lanes, turning, or entering a major road. Look in your mirrors and do a head check to ensure they are not traveling in your blind spot or coming up behind at a speed that will put you on a collision course. Helmets are about 29% effective in preventing motorcycle deaths and about 67% effective in preventing brain injuries. In addition to obeying all the rules of the road, motorcyclists and their passengers must always wear a safety helmet according to the law. They should always have their headlight on and should avoid sharing lanes in order to allow themselves more cushion space. According to the U.S. Department of Transportation, the number of deaths on motorcycles is about 14 times that of cars per mile traveled. They have rapid acceleration, high top speeds, and are less visible and stable than cars. They also offer less protection, which is why wearing helmets is so important. Studies show helmeted riders are 3 times less likely to suffer traumatic brain injuries in a crash than motorcyclists without helmets. The NHTSA estimates almost 500 motorcyclists lived to tell the tale in 1997 because their helmets saved them. If all motorcyclists had worn helmets, an additional 266 lives could have been saved. When California's motorcycle helmet use law took effect in 1992, motorcycle fatalities dropped 38% from the year before. As with motorcyclists, bicyclists have the same status on the road as any vehicle, both in terms of rights to the road as well as responsibilities. They must obey the same signs and rules of the road that apply to other vehicles. Obviously, a 65 mph speed limit has little relevance. The existence of bicyclists on the road is cause for concern when you are driving. As with pedestrians, they can be seriously injured in any impact with a vehicle. Bicyclists make right and left turns in the same lanes motorists use, and in the same way, although they will be moving far slower. Even though they generally ride in a straight line on the right curb or edge of the road, they may swerve left to avoid an obstruction, a vehicle door opening suddenly, or a parked vehicle moving out into the traffic lane. They may veer left for other reasons, such as to negotiate a parked vehicle, pass another bicyclist, or avoid an animal or debris. They may ride on the left curb or edge of a one-way street. In each case, you must be aware that 1. Bicyclists may be present, and 2. That bicyclists may not always follow a straight and predictable line. According to the U.S. Department of Transportation, only 2% of motor vehicle-related deaths are bicyclists, with young riders generally being responsible for their crashes. 98% of them weren't wearing helmets. When dealing with right turns and left turns on a one-way street, always do a head check before potentially crossing the path of a bicyclist. This applies particularly when merging into a bicycle lane. If a bicyclist is ahead of you, don't overtake the bicyclist and then turn. Rather, merge in behind the bicyclist and then turn. Bicyclists take up a small part of the width of a lane, but instead of trying to share the lane with them, give yourself and them at least 3 foot of cushion space by moving partially into the next lane as you approach and pass them. Bicyclists are required to wear properly certified safety helmets. This law includes passengers in bucket seats or towed trailers. Other rules for bicyclists include the following. They must ride in the same direction as the rest of the traffic, not against it. They must ride on the pavement, not on the sidewalk. They should utilize the bicycle lane where one exists and should only exit from it when it is reasonably safe to do so. They shouldn't weave in and out of vehicles, whether they are moving or parked. They should leave themselves enough cushion space when passing parked vehicles for the possibility of one pulling out, a car door opening, or a child or animal darting out in front of them. As of January 2003, California law requires those under 18 years of age to wear a properly fitted and fastened bicycle helmet while operating a bicycle or riding on one as a passenger, while operating a non-motorized scooter or skateboard or riding on one as a passenger, or while wearing inline or roller skates. This law was enacted because the #1 cause of fatalities for those under 14 has been head trauma caused by bicycle accidents.